Good evening. It's Sunday the 12th of February and it's time for the news on RIK2. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan discussed in Constantinople the latest developments in the peace process in Cyprus. This is what a readout issued last night by the office of Guterres' spokesperson said, adding that they had also discussed the situations in Syria and Iraq. Guterres is on his first major trip since taking the helm of the UN on January the 1st, which will also take him to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar and Egypt, as well as Germany. UN brokered Cyprus reunification talks between President Nikos Anastasiadis and Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Kemal began 2 years ago under the guidance of envoy Espanbath Aida. A high-level conference on Cyprus in Geneva, with the participation of the divided islands guarantors, Greece, Turkey and Britain, took place on January the 12th, focusing on security in a reunited EU member Cyprus. A second such conference is expected to take place in mid-March, even though Guterres said no date has been set yet. A 28-year-old Cuban resident of Cyprus and a British man aged 79 died in separate car accidents early today. The Cuban, father of a 3-year-old girl, was killed after losing control of his car on the Colossi Erimi road in Limassol and crashed into an embankment in the opposite lane. Traffic police said the victim was not wearing a seatbelt and might have been saved had he been wearing one, because the car was not moving at a great speed when it crashed. In Baralimni, the Briton died when his car burst into flames, initially on impact with a wall surrounding a house there. According to police, around 12:30 a.m. the man lost control of the rental on Koray Street and hit the wall around the house. The fire service managed to put out the flames, but it was too late to save the victim. A World War II bomb forced a massive evacuation in Salonika, Greece's second-largest city, but also gave a group of stranded refugees a rare day trip to the museum. The bomb was deactivated by specialists by midday and was taken from the site, just to the west of central Thessaloniki, to a military shooting range to be destroyed. Up to 72,000 residents living within a 2-kilometre radius of the bomb site had been asked to leave their homes for local gyms, stadiums and cafes in one of the country's biggest peacetime evacuations. The 250-kilogram bomb was discovered about 5 metres below ground during excavation works at a petrol station last week. For one group of refugees and migrants, the discovery of the bomb led to an excursion to a museum. German authorities briefly closed the airport in the northern city of Hamburg today after a discharge of a corrosive substance caused eye irritation and breathing difficulties among 50 people in a security check area. Firefighters and ambulances were rushed to the scene after the incident, which occurred in an area where passenger luggage is scanned by security staff. Lightly dressed passengers were rushed outside the terminal but were allowed back in shortly after, while the airport had flights shortly after midday. Protesters threw projectiles at police and set cars and rubbish bins ablaze for a second day in a row today in a bleak area of the Paris suburbs where tensions have risen over alleged police brutality in the arrest of a local man. A policeman has been placed under formal investigation for suspected rape and 3 others for unnecessary violence on February the 2nd during the arrest of the 22-year-old man in Bobigny outside the French capital. Cars and bins were torched in a night of violence and resumed this morning. North Korea has fired a ballistic missile into the sea, the first such test since US President Donald Trump was elected, and his administration indicated that Washington would have a calibrated response to avoid escalating tensions. The test was likely to have been an intermediate-range Musudan-class missile that landed in the Sea of Japan, not an intercontinental ballistic missile, which the North has said it could test at any time. The launch marks the first test of Trump's vow to get tough on an isolated North Korean regime that last year tested nuclear devices and ballistic missiles at an unprecedented rate in violation of United Nations resolutions. A U.S. official said the Trump administration had been expecting a North Korean provocation soon after taking office and will consider a full range of options in response. But these, the official added, would be calibrated to show U.S. resolve while avoiding escalation. And now a look at tomorrow's weather. Mostly sunny, but the occasional cloud could bring along some isolated local showers and light snowfall over the mountains. Winds will be light to moderate easterly to northeasterly, force 3 to 4 over slight seas. Temperatures will reach 13 Celsius inland, 15 in coastal regions and 3 over the mountains. The depth of snow on Mount Olympus is 45 centimetres, with 35 on the Troodos Square. That's all for today. Join us tomorrow again for more news in English. Have a very good evening.